Hello, how's it going today? It's Frankie here, and I'm back with another movie review. And this is another depressing, dull movie. I mean, it's not intentional. I just chose it because it sounded good. The movie is called Suitcase. When I read about it, I was like, it sounded really funny. But it was one of those movies where I don't know what to think about it in terms of like, it wasn't that funny, but the acting wasn't too bad. You had the storyline that wasn't too bad. It's one of those movies where it should have been funnier, especially on paper. And you think about a scenario like that where, oh, with this sort of comedy, it's like, oh, it sounds hilarious, but it wasn't. It was disappointing. It was better than the previous movie. Yes, the acting in this one had more energy, had a bit more enthusiasm, bit more upbeat to it. But again, it lacked a bit of humour. Maybe other people watch this and see some of the funny side to it. There was only like one or two funny scenes into it. Now it's about this businessman, well, this wine salesman called Franklin, and his colleagues don't like him at his job. His girlfriend's cheating on him with this golfer called Brad, and he knows that that she's cheating on him with with that dude, but they both don't know that, and it should have been funnier because it sounds funny. But it wasn't the case. It wasn't any of that clever, smart, witty scenes into it. It was just dull and sloppy, but average. It's weird, and it should have been better. And there's some scenes into it where Brad comes into the wine store or something like that, and this was a bit funny, which made you chuckle a bit. And there's like, how are you? And he's like, oh crap, it's the guy cheating. It's the guy like doing my wife with girlfriend. Actually, it's the guy doing my girlfriend. And he says, do you want to hang out? What do you want to do? He says, say no, you're screwing my wife. Something along those lines. There was lines like that which he said in his mind, and that kind of made me laugh nearly a little bit. That's what I'm talking about. That's the sort of humour that I mean. Adding stuff in like that, which would have been hilarious. He's like, do you want to go golfing tomorrow? He's like, say no, so no. And it was like, it made me laugh. I did expect it to say no, like to him, like in a stern manner. It would make it a bit more funnier, but I'm shocked they didn't add that into it. It was a bit disappointing. He also has Jose, which is the owner, and I think daughter Katie, which is like working there as well, and they don't like him and stuff like that. And it's one of those ones that was just kind of sad, to be honest. Yeah. So let me continue the story, and he goes golfing with him, and he says, someone called Charlene, and he was like, yeah, well, no, he asked his girlfriend's called Charlene, and he was saying, oh, yeah, I don't know her actually. It was really nice though. And then Charlene obviously clocks that, that she met Brad before, because he was asking, I know this person, called Brad, who does golf and stuff like that. I'm not getting the story all muddled up. That's because of how I'm describing it. But there's not really much to tell in this one so far. And to be fair, his life does kind of suck. To be fair, I'm not being rude, but his character and overall how it is in the story, there's not really much going for him, to be honest. He sounds like more like a kind of like a loser, to be fair, and he just sits around and he doesn't really try hardest to do anything. I can't really talk either, but at least I have to attempt to do something. And he comes across this guy called Jack, Jackford. Never heard of a Jackford before, but it is what it is. And he sees him on this roof, and he ends up getting the house, and he starts telling him you need to live life to the fullest. There were scenes where they were building like something out of like shopping carts or something like that, and he told him to actually car dive into people's cars. And he was, and he also poured fizzy drinks on his Xbox 360 and another games console, which actually nearly rattled me because I've got an Xbox. So, excuse me, if someone poured a drink on that, I'll be fuming too. So there's no need for him to do that. But then he says, "Oh, it's not just playing games, mate. It's not going to help you get anywhere." But says the guy that's telling him to do silly things because it's fun and you're living life to the fullest. That's not living out the fullest. That's risking your life for something that's unnecessary and is not needed at all whatsoever. And obviously, movies like this, they kind of give you false information in a sense, because he car dived into someone's car and he ended up getting a job out of it. I don't know how that doesn't happen. You will get threatened by that. You'll get the police on you. And I'm kind of glad this Franklin dude has a bit of common sense, because yeah, he didn't want to get into trouble for it. There's only certain things you can be living life to the fullest for, but not stuff like that. That's not acceptable at all. And I had to mention that because that will come in towards the end of it, but I'll go into that soon. And there's also like a scene where he lost his job, and he was messing around. He's a bit too drunk, and he's a good salesman. He's a good salesman. He promotes wine nice, in a good way. He makes it more fun. He's the one that's actually been making the money in. So for Jose and for Kate to be precise, she doesn't want to be called that, especially in the movie in one scene. In a sense, he doesn't. I mean, in a sense, it shouldn't be too ungrateful towards him, but he is a bit of an a-hole, and that kind of costed him. And there was only for him to act like that. It's like he didn't care, but I'm sure he was making good money out of the job. He was working at least. You got to be thankful for that. But he was the one bringing in the most money, because I didn't see the other two doing anything. I know Jose the owner, but Jose should be the one doing something. No, he's not. I don't. No. He's not. He's not the dad. Beg your pardon, because the actual owner comes in towards the end and actually fires him in that particular scene, and he's got a lot of complaints, and he went about it the wrong way. I mean, for me, it's weird because he actually didn't care about his job, but he cared about his relationship more. Even though he knew his woman was cheating, but didn't confront her. It's almost like he didn't care. So it's wrong. I get that. It's wrong to cheat, but in that sort of situation, he wasn't having anything going for him. And in Charlene's mind, she found something that actually had more of his life together, in that sense. And he didn't question her on it, and he knew it. He had an opportunity right there to actually talk to her, but he didn't. It's almost like he just admitted defeat. And Jack was saying, "Oh, okay, just talk to her about it," but he wouldn't. I don't know. It's one of the situations where I did feel sorry for him. But at the same time, he kind of also had his own karma. Like, why did he not try and destroy his relationship with what she was doing to him? Why can he not do the same? And Bailey, and he knew this all along that she was cheating, and she just was so calm, like she didn't care. And then Brad obviously invites him to his place, so him and so he can have dinner with him and Charlene, which is mad. That's like a mad scene. That's the most awkwardest thing ever, because the woman that's cheating on you with this dude, that's happening, but then the dude invites you anyway because he didn't know, and he actually recognizes those two together somewhere. It's kind of one of those ones where it kind of makes you rage a bit, but it's like a bit of awkwardness. And he goes into the house and finds out that Charlene's there. That's when Charlene should have been like, "Oh crap." I was like, "Yeah, looks like you weren't seeing anybody, you told him. Interesting." But the dude stayed loyal to you, but then the dude hasn't really got his life together. I find that very interesting, to be honest. A good, interesting comparison. And yeah, so he was, it's like he was about to snap as Brad was talking to him about something. And when the dinner came, oh my god, that's when he said, "Are you sure you two don't recognize each other?" Charlene, Franklin looked at each other and thought, I don't want to say anything. Should I say something? That dialogue, there should have been dialogue right there. I'm sorry, that would have made the movie a bit more interesting, despite there being no humour involved. That should have been more into the storyline right there. He should have got up and said, "You know what, I do want to say something. Me and Charlene did have something going on, and she's been cheating on me with you." Now, of course there might have been a fight scene in that one, but at least added that one in. I would have added to the drama. I expected that. As soon as that happened, I was like, yeah, it looks like you have been seeing somebody else. And Charlie put up the crocodile tears. People only cry when they get found out for stuff like this. But cheating's wrong. You know how it's going to end. And you're crying anyway. So, I literally don't understand. Brad was comforting her. And she apologised. She went, "Sorry." He could have said, "Yeah, you know what? So am I," and walked out. He didn't say nothing. Nothing at all. Like, I would have been saying, "Oh, okay, fair enough. Good luck and have fun." And he walked out and he was like, "Wait." And then Brad said, "Wait, hold on. I recognise you too. When her purse got stolen, you gave your ATM card, and I recognise your face on it. So Brad did recognise those two. I didn't think he was suspected those two dating. That's very interesting, isn't it? And he could have said to her, right? He said, "Oh, she's a good girl. You should keep her." I think he said something along those lines. Good. She'll do it to him next. I don't understand people's concept. I would have been like, good luck, because she could easily do it to you next. But it sounded like to me that she played both of them. But I don't think Brad understood that she was two-timing both of them. So that script one was a little bit confusing right there, why he didn't just realise, oh, she was with you too. That would have been like, okay, that's those two done. Those two could have been friends in a weird way possible. That's what I thought would have been happening towards there. But yeah, it's sad that then he just walked away, but he didn't actually tell him the truth. Movies like this, it just feels like a pointless storyline that went into like literally nothing at the end right there. It should have been something that made sense. And it came up towards at the end where he was where he saw a dairy truck and he thought that was Jack filling it, and he cut dived in. I kind of didn't expect this to happen. I mean, and then this guy put out a shotgun. I did say stuff like this usually happens, and he was like, "Who the hell is that?" "Oh, sorry." And he started and citing some sort of poem that Jack gave to him or something. I'm just gonna call this dude Jack. That Jack gave to him when he shot him out in one scene. I didn't quite exactly hear what he said because the notification popped up. So yeah, I know what he said there exactly. So got a thing on that one. Got to try and remember. And then he just left. That's it. I mean, because his mom's house got sold, so he wanted to take the gig. Yeah. That's just a full movie. I tried summarising it. I did my best with it. The video was more longer than I thought. So yeah, it just ended right there. I literally thought Jack was gonna be in that truck, and that's it. It would have been a good ending or something. So I did expect something a bit different, but I didn't really know why it was called Cement Suitcase. We only got to see the suitcase 3-4 times in the entire movie. I didn't get it, but it could be a metaphor for how his life is, so small and compact, and not really much to do. That's a good analogy. But to call it Cement Suitcase, I think it's to do with him. It said he's a businessman, but I thought he's more of a salesman. So that's probably why it's called Cement Suitcase, because you would associate businessmen and salesmen to have briefcases and suitcases. So that's a good analogy. I see why they did that. Good title right there. That's good. Clever thinking up from the producer and directors. Ratings. I was gonna say it's lower, but it's for me. I think there's something more there in that movie where they could have made it a bit more funnier. It's definitely a bit better than the previous movie I've seen. I mean, it wasn't that they had some good moments. They had 1 or 2 funny scenes, but that's about it. Acting wasn't bad. Acting sort of kind of matched how it would be in that sort of lifestyle. Storyline wasn't too bad. Could have been a bit more. It needed a bit more work. Made it, needed a bit more to it in terms of the story, in terms of the dialogue. Needed a bit more. Could have added bits in. It's average at best. I do recognise those actors, and some of them at least, especially Franklin. I've forgotten what his actual name is, but I'm sure I've seen him before in other movies. But yeah, I don't know what this website's giving me these sort of movies. I may need to find a new website. Yeah, the rating for this is 5 out of 10, pretty standard. It's either 5 or 4. I would give it. I'm not gonna. Definitely higher than average. There's nothing higher about this movie that's a 7 or 8. It's nothing to it apart from 1 or 2 funny scenes, which could have been a whole lot better. It's average at best. Needs some more work. But you know what? If you're gonna make movies like this, please add humour. It's a comedy. Add it, please. If it's a drama, yeah, they got the drama correct. I'll give them that one. But add the comedy. If something's called a comedy, make it funny. But yeah, 5 out of 10 it is. If you enjoyed the video, please give a like, comment, share everyone else, subscribe and hit the bell notification below. I'll see you in my next video.